If you're looking for the ultimate grille guard for your 2019 and newer Silverado 1500, then look no further. The HDX from Westin provides the front end of your truck with a beefy, aggressive look and the flexibility to mount additional lights and even a heavy-duty winch. So if your truck works hard and sees a lot of action, this is a great option that will allow you additional flexibility and protection and make your Silverado more capable in the process. Quick note on fitment here before we dive in, this is designed to fit 2019 and newer Silverados, but it will not fit models with the Duramax diesel engine or the ZR2 package. Now, when somebody says the words grille guard, the HDX is essentially the exact thing that pops into my head. It is very much the quintessential grille guard. It's going to cover the whole front end of your truck, including the headlights, for a truly massive amount of real estate that is definitely going to keep your truck well protected. Of course, you have the requisite crossbars and the surrounds for your grille and your headlights, and you've got this big section of honeycomb right here in the center as well to cover up your grille. So everything has multiple layers of protection should you need it, but it's also not going to compromise on function. In fact, this will actually help your truck work even harder. In addition to the flat sections here, which are great for pushing things around, the standout feature is the integrated winch mount, which you see right down here. Now, this mount can accommodate most medium frame winches up to 10.25 inches tall, and it's rated for up to a 12,000 pound winch. And the winch trays are actually tested to 16,500 pounds in a straight line pull. So this will be able to do some serious work and give your truck some really hardcore pulling power. Whether you need to pull your own truck out of a sticky situation or you find yourself needing to assist others or pull stuff around on the ranch, whatever the case, this is going to set you up to do it with ease. As you can see, the whole thing is finished in gloss black too, so it's going to look really good against any paint color, and it makes the front end of the truck look that much more aggressive once it's mounted up. Looking good is important, but it's also important to be able to back that up with solid build quality, especially with something like this. This is a modular 4-piece setup, so the headlight guards and the winch plate both bolt on, but everything here is really solid. And this section right here, this center section, is all one piece. But having the modular additions to it means that if you ever need to replace or remove any part of it, it's just going to make that job much easier. Everything here is made from stainless steel. The main sections of tubing are all 2 inches in diameter, and you've got thick steel plating for the uprights and of course for the winch plate too. Everything is again finished in this nice gloss black powder coat for additional good looks and corrosion protection. Safe to say, this is a very high quality setup and it should be durable for the long run, even if you are working it really hard. Pricing reflects that quality construction as well, as this one's going to run you about $1,800. It is the most affordable option for these trucks that also includes the winch plate. So if that is important to you, this is a great way to get the winch capability and the protection that this can provide for as few dollars as possible. Doesn't hurt that it's very well built and looks good to boot. Installation is going to get a 2 out of 3 on our difficulty meter, and it should take you around 2 hours to complete the job. Now, this is a totally bolt-on installation that does not require you to cut or modify anything on the truck itself. However, you're going to want at least one more set of hands for this job. Though the modular nature of this makes it a little bit easier to get it on the truck and put it together, it's definitely helpful to have another person there, if only for the sake of safety. We're also going to walk you through the entire process step by step right now, so for that, let's head on out to the shop.
Tools required for this install include an impact gun, ratchet, clip remover tool, 13, 15, and 18 millimeter wrenches, 18 millimeter ratcheting wrench, some extensions, 10, 13, 15, 16, and 18 millimeter sockets, T15 torque socket, 5, 6, and 8 millimeter Allen sockets. What's up guys? Today we're installing a grille guard on our Silverado, so let's get started.
First step for the uninstall, we have to pop our hood. We're gonna get off our top radiator shroud. Now grab a panel removal tool. We're gonna pop off these push pin clips. There's a couple straight across the front, and then we'll wrap it right back at the top end there. All you have to do is pry up on the middle section, go up underneath, and pull it out in one piece. Repeat that for all of them here. Okay, now we're going in the back. All right, from there you can lift this guy off. At the top of the grille there are 4 10 millimeter bolts holding it on. Grab your 10 socket, I'm gonna use an impact gun, get these off. Next up, we can start popping our grille off. You wanna grab a panel removal tool. I'm gonna use a plastic one instead of the metal one I was using before, just so I don't scratch any of our paint or our headlight glass. I'm gonna go into this corner here. You'll start to hear a pop here as well. that. Repeat that on the other side. We'll pop up the top, just like that. All right, so you want to lift up on the tabs at the top end, make sure that's disconnected. All right, pop your grill off and set it aside. Next up, we're in the wheel well here. You want to grab a T15 Torx bit. We're going to remove 5 of these screws. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 is deeper in, and 5's up a little higher. All right, repeat that for the other side once you get all 5 of these guys out. Next up, we have the vehicle up in the air just to make it a little easier to see. We're basically taking off this bumper bracket. Now, I folded back the wheel well liner that we just unbolted to make it easier to see, because that's also how you can get to it from the outside of the vehicle if you're not crawling underneath. Grab a 15 socket. We're gonna get those 2 bolts off of this bumper bracket and 1 on the side. All right, and then this one down here. All right, repeat that on the other side. All right, so next up, while we have this up in the air, we're gonna get this 1 10mm bolt off. It's just to the inside of the bracket we just took off there and a little bit lower. Grab a 10 socket and get it off, and then repeat that on the other side. All right, so next up, we're in front of the vehicle. Where the grille used to be, there's this big rubber panel. If you go to these 2 bolts on each side, so right now you're looking at the passenger side, and you flip this guy open, or down at least, you can expose an 18mm bolt staring straight up at you. Grab a longer extension, an 18 deep socket, and an impact gun, go straight down onto the bolt, and remove it on both sides. Now, you may need to stick your hand down there just to grab the bolt once it's loose. Repeat that on the other side. All right, once you repeat that on the other side, we're basically doing the same thing, flipping up this rubber flap to expose that 18mm bolt. Once you get that off on both sides, the bumper will be free, so make sure you have a hand on it to support it or a helping hand with a friend. Okay, again, repeat on the other side, hold onto your bumper, and we can pull it off. All right, what I like to do is just put my hand right in that spot where that last bolt came out, pull the bumper straight back and off.
So now the last thing we need to remove is our tow hooks. So we're gonna take an 18mm socket on the bolt side and an 18mm wrench on the nut side. And then there's another shorter bolt on this side that's just gonna be a bolt. Do that same thing on the other side. So now we're ready to install our main mounting brackets. We're gonna slide these into the hole in our frame. We've got a couple of long bolts that are gonna go all the way through the frame. And then we've got a couple of bolt plates with some fish wire that we're gonna have to fish down and into place. So I'm gonna fish my bolt plates through first with our fish wire. So we just need to twist our bolt plate into that coil. And then we're gonna go in through this big hole next to the body mount, and we're gonna come out of this small hole at the bottom. This is the smaller of our 2 bolt plates. Our bigger one is gonna go on the other side. So you just gotta kind of put it in that hole. I'm gonna bend it a little bit at the end so I can kind of angle it. And then I'm just looking through that hole for my wire to pass through. Once you have it through that hole, pull it through just like that, and then we can twist our wire to pull that off. Be careful not to push the bolt back through that hole. And then I'm just gonna hold that bolt and slide this retaining clip on it. Again, just be careful not to push it back in. And then with that in place, I'm gonna throw a washer, a lock washer, and a nut onto that stud. And I'm just gonna leave that loose for now. And then I'm gonna get my thicker bolt plate and thread that into the coiled part. And then this one's just going straight across. It's gonna come out right above my finger here on the other side. So this one you can do pretty straight with the wire. Pull that through, and then we'll do the same thing over here. So now once again, we're gonna carefully twist this off and not drop our bolt in. And then get your retaining clip on there. Just kind of spin that on. And then we're gonna take that really big washer, put that on, and then we have a smaller washer, a lock washer, and a nut. And then with that in place, I'm gonna take my long bolt with a flat washer, put that through this hole, and then I have another flat washer, a lock washer, and a nut on the other side. Then I'm gonna do the same thing on the hole down here. Now we're gonna go back and tighten all of our bolts. So I'm gonna start with the bottom, take a 16mm socket for that one. And then we're gonna switch to an 18mm socket and wrench for our two long bolts. And then 18mm socket for the one up top. Do that same thing on the other side. So now we're gonna install our upper support brackets before we put our bumper back on. We're gonna be using this bolt right here. We're gonna pull that out. We're gonna put our bracket on, and then we're just gonna put that bolt right back in. Take a 13mm socket to pop the bolt out. And then just lay your bracket on there, thread your bolt in, and then straighten it out and tighten it down. Do that same thing on the other side. It's now ready to reinstall our front bumper. So we're just gonna raise that up, get it over our two mounts here, and just slide it back and into place. Now we're gonna reinstall the two bolts on each side. And take an 18mm socket and extension to tighten those down. Do the same thing on the other side. Next, we can reinstall our outer support bars. We'll just thread in our factory bolts. Then grab your 15mm socket to tighten them down. And do that same thing on the other side. Now while we're down here, we can reinstall the 10mm through that bracket. Tighten that down with a 10mm socket. And do the same thing on the other side. Next, we can lay our winch tray onto our brackets and get our hardware installed. So now we need to bolt our winch tray to our mounts. So we've got an Allen head bolt and a hex head bolt. The hex head bolt is going to go all the way on the outside here, and then the two Allen bolts with flat washers are going to go through your other two holes. The smaller nut is going to go on that hex head bolt. We'll reach underneath and thread that on. And then our two bigger nuts are going onto the Allen head bolts. So I'm going to take an 8mm Allen socket and 18mm wrench for my two Allen head bolts. And then I'll switch to a 15 millimeter socket and wrench for my hex head bolt. Repeat that process on the other side. Now we're going to install the spacers on the end of our winch tray. Now one thing to make sure of is that the top hole is more forward than the bottom hole. And then we're just going to put 2 of our M12 flanged bolts through. And then the bottom one, you have to sneak the nut in there first before you slide the bolt in. Not a ton of room with that bolt there. I'm gonna get this other one on so it'll hold. And then I'll thread in that bottom one. Now grab an 18 millimeter wrench and an 18 millimeter ratcheting wrench and tighten these down. And I'm just gonna make sure it stays straight. Do the same thing on the other side. So now I've got a buddy to help me lift our main section of the grill guard up and into place. We're using our M12 Allen head bolts with flat washers going through our spacers here with nuts on the other side, and then the M10 Allen head bolts on our support brackets. Now we're going to take the grill, slide it behind our grill guard, and pop that into place. Now I'm just going to button everything up top. I'm going to reinstall all of our upper grill bolts, and then we can get our rad cover reinstalled. Take a 10 millimeter socket and tighten those down. Now we can reinstall the rad cover and put all of our clips back in. Now we'll slide our handle back on and reinstall our 2 screws. Take your T15 torque socket, tighten those down. Now I'm going to reinstall our side pieces. Get all your clips lined up. Now come into your wheel well and reinstall the 3 screws. And take a T15 torque socket to tighten those down. Do that same thing on the other side. So now we're going to tighten down our side bolts. For our bigger ones at the bottom, I'm going to use an 8 millimeter Allen socket and an 18 millimeter wrench to tighten them. Now for this bolt up top, we're actually going to pull this out right now. We have a hole in the side piece that this bolt needs to go through, but we just had this in so that we could get everything lined up. And now that this is tightened down, we know our bolt hole is going to be lined up when we go to put this back in. So I'm just going to pull this bolt out and then we'll install our side wing. So now we're going to install our side piece. I'm going to reinstall that bolt that we just pulled out first, and then we can install our smaller hardware. Now I'm just going to get that nut on the back. Now I'm going to grab our M8 Allen head bolts with the flat washers for all my other holes. So now I'm going to take a 6 millimeter Allen socket and a 15 millimeter wrench to tighten down our support bracket bolt. And then we're going to switch to a 5 millimeter Allen socket and 13 millimeter wrench for all the rest of the bolts. And then do that same thing on the other side. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the Westin HDX Winch Mount Modular Grille Guard in black for your 2019 and newer Silverado 1500, excluding diesel and ZR2. Thank you for watching, and for all things Silverado, keep it right here at AmericanTrucks.com.